talk about Scream. I came late to this franchise in life. I really did not like horror movies growing up. I still am careful to watch certain horror movies because it legitimately, I get scared easily. And though the images that people paint on screen really stay with me and can haunt me for weeks. And so if I'm going to watch a scary movie, it needs to be like just a gold standard for filmmaking. Unless it's like really like low tier, like it's so bad it's good, then maybe I'll watch those. But like otherwise, if it's supposed to be scary, then it needs to be like quality filmmaking. And that's the problem with horror, because horror, out of every genre, shells out the most garbage. Just anything. Yeah, we just greenlight everything. Everything gets greenlight for horror. It's the easiest genre to fill up and get greenlit for just being crap. You kill a few people, one person lives, the end. Or don't kill everybody. I mean, literally, there's a movie called Zombievers. About zombie beavers, like that got made. So I don't know. So I didn't see any of the Scream franchise until after Scream 4 was already out. So I didn't even see Scream 4 in the theaters. I saw it on DVD and Blu-ray. And so I don't know. I think Scream, my personal ranking of favorite is Scream 1, Scream 4, and Scream 2, and Scream 3. Scream 2 and Scream 3, though, are pretty interchangeable. I'm not as huge of a Scream 3 hater, although, even Courtney Cox in this one made fun of how bad her bangs were. In Scream 5, she made fun of that. So I love the first two, or I love Scream 1 and Scream 4 so much because of how much I didn't suspect the twists at the end, and I loved how it unfolded. I loved the motivations behind all the characters, and it just was a really, really well done whodunit for both of them. It explained the genre well. It poked fun at the genre in the best ways possible, and just super well put together. And 2 and 3 do like a B level job of that, in my opinion. So we saw Scream 5 in theaters. That was super exciting. Scream 4 was like a legacy movie where you've got it seemed like the closing act, right? Like they brought the characters back, and it still starred the characters, even though there was a newer generation coming up. But they didn't write it in a way that would ship those characters off as the new people carrying the torch. That's a difference between 4 and 5. Is 5, Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox all take a back seat to the new generation, and the new generation is going to carry it on. So it's interesting because the teaser trailer and the trailers did play it up as if the main trio that we followed with for the first 4 movies was going to be a bigger role in this. And they really weren't. I would say David Arquette has the most impact on this movie, and then followed by a 2-way tie between Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell. So that was kind of disappointing. That was probably one of my bigger disappointments. It just didn't feel like it was about them. And that's fine, but that's put a stake on a lot of new people. But what a great group of new people. Melissa Barrera and Jenny Ortega as the sisters, as our main focus. And I think they did a great job at playing sisters. I think I really liked their motivation for what was happening. The other groups, you've got Dylan Minnette, who was okay. Mickey Madison, who did as good a job as I've expected from her. Jack Quaid, my man Jack Quaid from The Boys. I really like him honestly, let's put Jack Quaid more in everything's. It is funny that the smile that sometimes Jack Quaid puts on, you can really see his dad. Like, you can just see it in his, like, big, like, almost Joker-esque smile. Like, anyways, it's pretty solid. You've got Jasmine Brown and Mason Gooding. Both are great in this, playing the Randy Meek's nephews, which is perfect. And then there's a couple other people in this that make their return one way or the other. You know, try not to do too many spoiler stuff, but it's interesting. The way they connect this one to Scream 1 is an admirable attempt and really not too bad of writing. I thought they did a good job with this. So the directors really had the heart going into this, and I think that was very apparent. And the only thing that I feel like is different that really stands out, which makes sense if you watch Ready or Not, is that the violence is taken up a notch. I think there's an extra level of gore that's happening in this movie that was enough for me to stomach just fine, but definitely there was more gory, gross, violent stuff happening in Ready or Not than there was really in any of the other Scream movies, because it's all generally like pretty like stab, you know. Like, it's just all, I mean, that's why the movie inside the movies are called Stab. What I love about these movies, and what I think everyone should appreciate, is that they are whodunits for sure. I mean, this is like just a horror version of Knives Out and et cetera, et cetera. Like, that is the spirit of these movies, because it's the one person I've talked to that was a fan of all the Scream movies leading up to this, but then basically downright hates this movie. The main thing that I took away from his complaints was that there was no character development. And before I disagree with that, just out of the principle of Scream 5, I would say that there really isn't any on-screen character growth in any of the Scream franchise. I don't really think anyone learns anything except for very, very shallow things. Like, and not shallow as in a negative thing, but just nothing super deep and connecting. So like Scream 1, you've got Dewey, who's kind of being, he's like trying to bite off more than he can chew. He's trying to be more mature, blah, blah, blah. And he does get that way. Like, he's a young guy trying to overact his maturity, but he eventually gets his maturity. And you've got Courtney Cox's character, who starts off as a selfish, narcissistic reporter, and she learns to be a more selfless reporter. And then I don't really know what Neve Campbell learns. I don't really know what she learns other than, to be more selective on her boyfriends. And Randy doesn't really learn anything either. So these feel like just a 2-hour glimpse into the life of them. It's like the events are the focus, not necessarily the characters. It's like when we fast forward to Scream 2, it's like they're in college already. They've grown. Like in Scream 2, like she obviously has boyfriend trust issues there, so she jumps, but we see that off camera between movies, she's learned to get a new group of friends, and one of those is a boyfriend, and she's trusting. And so then fast forward again to Scream 4, again, boyfriend issues, like there's trauma, but like there's more friend issues. And so then she has become, in between movies, she's become a total recluse. She's off the grid. Then at the end of Scream 3 is probably the more easily like character growth, because she decides that she can't be off the grid anymore. It's still going to come get her. So I guess Scream 3, ironically, because it's the lowest rated for most people, is the one that might have the most character growth for our main character. In Scream 4, I don't really feel like there's any character growth either because it all happens off screen. Like, she starts off and she's a best selling author on a book tour, and Dewey is the sheriff now, and Courtney Cox is doing her job. This is all happening between screens. I don't feel like from the beginning of Scream 4 to the end of Scream 4 they really learn anything new. They just survive another series of killings. And so, if you're focused on the character development of these movies, you might need to find another horror movie to go watch, because this is really just a meta fourth wall break, like, fun series of events. You know, it's like a murder mystery movie. Like, that's all. Like, that's what these are. Scream 5 arguably has good character growth if you focus on the sisters. The sisters start off drifted apart. They're not in each other's lives, and then the events bring them closer together. They fight, they argue, but at the end of the movie, you know, they're together. So Scream 5, you know, as far as character development for the main trio, like, Dewey is an old, grizzled man, retired, relationship on the rocks with Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox is at the same level of trajectory for her career, and Neve Campbell's got her life together, even though we don't see her husband and kids. Like, they're just all referenced. And, you know, when Neve Campbell finally shows up on the scene very late in the movie, she's like, let's just kill this guy. And, like, that's it. Like, her character growth is like, I'm not putting up with this anymore, I'm gonna kill him. Like, you know, it's not, the character growth isn't happening on screen. So yeah, if you like this, let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Is their character development well spoken in each of the Scream movies? Did you like this new one? Do you not like this new one? I'd be interested to hear it, because I liked it. I don't know where I rank it yet. You know, it's gonna be, it's not better than Scream 4 or Scream 1 in my opinion, but it was really good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the new cast carries on the torch, and honestly, I think we can leave the legendary trio behind and just keep going on with the new kids.